over 100 fundamentalist ministers of Pentecostal and that kind of thing who are wanting to become New Thought ministers. They have given up that old-time religion. They are reading Ernest Holmes. Is that not exciting? Yeah. That means if he knows of 100, there's thousands of people who are shifting. I just got invited to speak with a group of traditional ministers in Calgary. They called me and said, we'd like you to come and dialogue with us about the distinction between spirituality and religion. I said, you don't know who I am, do you? He said, no, but we've heard that you could speak on the subject. I said, you need to know, I'm not going to be politically correct. You know, if you want me to talk about this, I will. And he said, no, that's what we want. These are very progressive thinkers. So to be invited by a group of traditional ministers who don't know me is a very good sign that things are opening up. And this is, you know what Ernest Holmes said? It's in your program. His vision was not to destroy religion, but to liberate it from superstition and dogma. That is the same thing I'm talking about for us. To liberate our mind from superstition that life is teaching us lessons, that we're less than and we're trying to become more, that we have to die first to get there. But to release our mind from the grip of old ideas that keep us from our true self-expression, keep us from joy and happiness and love. So this spiritual self is largely ignored or thought of as an abstraction, or thought of as a religious construct. Some people think of it as their conscience, the voice that says, don't do that. But that's the ego's role, is to keep us out of harm's way, because the ego's role is survival. The spiritual self is about thrival. It's about thriving. And this is the aspect of our nature that gives us these ideas. It pops. Barbara Hubbard says it pops in us. And we go, oh my gosh, that's a great idea. I wonder if I could do that. And then we begin to notice the synchronicities around us that support this emerging idea that something that wants to happen. So it's not the voice of conscience. It never says don't. It always says yes. Okay? And this spiritual nature, as I know Dr. J speaks about every week, as I do, is made up of qualities. And there are about 5 or 6 basic qualities that make up consciousness. They make up beingness, and they are the ground out of which everything in the world is made. They are love, peace, joy, vitality, intelligence, supply. And those qualities turn themselves into every human experience. Love becomes relationships of all kinds. Peace is that place within our mind where we feel one with the universe, each other, the source, the idea, the possibility. It is the place where there's no fear. That is an essential aspect of our nature, one which I believe we should visit every day, so that we begin to walk with it. Joy is a natural energy that causes us to move. It's not just happiness. It's a bubbling up of an awareness of life is good. Life is great. This is possible. Yes, I can. That's joy. And it is very healing to the body. It reorganizes things and gets them back where they belong. It puts things back in perfect right harmony with each other as they are meant to be. We call that health. But vitality is the energy of health. And vitality is the same energy that's spinning the planets in their orbits, that's hanging the stars in the sky. It's gravity, it's electromagnetism. Vitality is raw energy that, when it is allowed to function through an awareness of harmony and peace, becomes perfect health. And it is very difficult to compromise it. It takes a lot longer to get sick than it does to get well. That it is, our natural tendency is to be vitalized and alive. And I've just been spending several days with Reverend Cynthia, who is equating the vitality in raw food, and it makes a lot of sense. And of course, we don't teach what to eat or not eat in this teaching, but we do teach our heart and mind is led to do what it knows is the right thing for us, right? Okay, so there's many new avenues of a human experience opening up to this idea of how to unlock vitality. And this paradise earth is loaded with it. And it's locked up in natural things. And our job is to get into relationship with nature and allow ourselves to unlock that natural vitality. And it begins, of course, in us. It begins as we go within and sit with it. Intelligence, of course, is creativity. Intelligence is ideas. Intelligence drives evolution. Intelligence is what wants to happen. And it wants to happen in a field that allows it to reveal itself in the most full-blown way. So, as Chorwood would say, when we have an idea whose time has come, nothing can stop it except us. Nothing can stop it except our lack of belief or faith or devitalizing the idea. Okay? So it's the same thing with supply. There's enough of everything for everybody all the time. Because God is everywhere present all the time, all at once, all of it. Right? It never withdraws. It's always coming in this direction. As when you think about your life, doesn't it come from this direction? You see from inside out, you speak from inside out, you feel from inside out, you get an idea on the inside and it goes out. The universe is coming through us by means of us. So, we want to use love, I think, today as an example of one of these powers that knows how to turn itself into human experience and relate it to the whole concept of lessons. Now, love itself, it's still kind of springtime, and this is when our hearts are kind of open to the possibility. And love is the initial impetus to be together, to join with. It's behind what we're attracted to. It's love happens before you start adding up the score. Well, they look pretty good for their age. They got plenty of money. They like hockey or whatever is the equivalent, soccer, football. I have a friend in Calgary, a female, and she says, I just don't want to get involved with any man that isn't willing to watch figure skating with me. So, because she says that speaks volumes about them. Okay. So behind all that stuff is love. And it's the driving force that creates the third thing. It's the driving force that creates relationship. And it wants expression. And so we are drawn to those we think will allow us to express our love. If the ego gets involved, it ceases to be love, because there we start saying they need to meet my emotional needs. I'm there to get myself healed by this person or made whole by this person. And they'd better behave in a certain way, because there's a certain way they have to behave for me to get my needs met, right? Ever been in a relationship like that? That's a lot of fun, isn't it? Yeah. Then we get into ego management, but we're more inclined to try to manage their ego. Have you noticed that? The problem with you is, whenever someone starts a sentence with that, you just run. The trouble with you is, love is only real when it's expressed as an aspect of our nature that doesn't need anything, and you can't run out of it, and it's always present. And it's enlivened by us, by our agreement that it's present, by our willingness to give it, and by our awareness that it is greater than us and that we are using it for our particular way of being in the world. It's not a commodity that we get from life. It's something we're born with, and we're born with a desire to express it. So if the conditions of the relationship don't support our threefold nature, spiritual, mental, and physical, and you know what that means? Anybody ever have a partner that wouldn't come here with you and ridiculed you for it? Or if you started meditating, they thought that was silly. The relationship doesn't thrive under those conditions. Or if someone's verbally abusive to you or physically abusive to you. Now, this is important. Because the role of love, if we pay attention in those situations, is not to teach us a lesson.